What's up? Back with more Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Let's get into it. Continuing right where we left off. Indeed. Prosecutor Ouchie, please continue with proceedings. Tisk. Well, you were warned. The young can be reckless. You know, many call me a saint, but I can be a devil when I want to be. I can be an angel or your devil. In a few short moments from now, that dumbstruck young mouth of yours will be silenced forever. The prosecution calls its next witnesses. Very well. Officer, bring forth the witnesses at once. Who we got? Ooh, what a bunch of characters. Witnesses, kindly state your names and occupations for the court. Yes, sir. The Great Nippon Imperial Army Sergeant Nosa, reporting for duty, sir. Gotta get a voice down for this dude. Myself, I find employers and purveyor of fine articles of antiquity from the efflorescence of our nation Nippon, and conduct my trade from Rasute, a humble premises in the 2nd District, Curio Kurukuta, at your service. Kurikuta, I don't know. Hold up. Wait, can I, how do I do it? Hold up, people. Will this work? Okay. I didn't actually go over this dude. Satoru Hosanaga, 29. The head waiter of the European-style restaurant La Carnadal. He was serving there on the day of the incident. Iesa Nosa, 38. An army sergeant of the Empire of Japan who witnessed the incident. Kurio Korekuta, 67. The owner of Rasute, an antique shop situated on a street corner in the 2nd District. He is a witness to the incident. Alright. Oh, I skipped over that line. Whoops. Can I go... An antique dealer and a soldier. What an unusual pairing. Both of these gentlemen were present at the restaurant on the day in question. They must be the diners at the other table that the waiter mentioned. Myself, I habitually take tea of the most exquisite aroma at the establishment in question, always post-noon. Your head looks like a goddamn Q-tip, I'm just gonna say it outright, buddy. And not infrequently converse with interested parties regarding the curios, with which I make my business. I can't understand a word that old man is saying. He sounds super old and decrepit, and also his words are complex. He's an antique dealer, and it sounds like he's a regular at La Carnival. He seeks out potential customers who may have had an interest in antiques and tries to sell his wares to them. He obviously targets La Carnival because it's a high-class restaurant with a rich clientele. Right, I see. Although, to be honest, that sergeant looks more like he'd be a seller rather than a buyer. Now you both witnessed the precise moment of this most atrocious incident. Is that correct? Affirmative. The enemy unit was seen attacking the foreigner in what can only be described as an act of war, sir. It was that black uniformed rogue infantryman over there who unloaded his firearm, sir. What was that sound? It was like a squeak or a quack or something. Sir, are you holding a duck? Show the court your duck. This man's as impossible to understand as the other. I'm almost sure I heard a strange noise during that last thing he said. Yeah, same. So, this is the decisive evidence the prosecution was threatening. I'm not impressed. The soldier is claiming that he actually saw the precise moment you shot the victim dead. Yes. Well, are you starting to feel uncomfortable? Yeah, if I'm honest, I was feeling uncomfortable from the start. Now, the court will hear your formal testimony, please. You will state everything you saw at the precise moment that the incident occurred. Sir, yes, sir. Standing by, ready to report, sir. There it is again. Actually, that doesn't... It sounds like a baby. Unsavory memories of a most acerbic afternoon. Blah, blah, blah. I hope that dude drops his frickin' antique there. What the witnesses saw. Testimony time. I was ingesting a regulation beefsteak at the restaurant while having a tactical discussion with the old man. Myself, I was extolling the virtues of a particularly fine golden curio to the military gentleman. At that precise moment, a firearm was discharged. I observed the enemy's actions with my own eyes. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian, and from the back, that cowardly little weasel. I was on my hands and knees investigating the whereabouts of my mysterious absconding precious curio. Sorry, I had a bit of a stroke there. As you see, I'm very old. Well, so you, Sergeant, also actually witnessed the vital moment. You saw the split second when the defendant fired the weapon at the victim. Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. That wicked university cadet, sir. The cruel and unforgivable enemy. Sir, why do you have a knife? Why have you taken out a knife in a court of law? Oh, so, can we like scroll the camera over to the right? Look at, he just has a knife. This is a court. Could someone like confiscate his weapon or something? Like, he just has a drawn knife. I mean, granted, I guess Kazuma has a frickin' sword, so I can't really say much there, but his isn't drawn at least. Like, this frickin' witness, Q-tip-headed, old, raggedy-ass man is brandishing a knife. What times we live in when an English gentleman may be assailed in the broad light of day. Oh, yes, I was a serial killer back when I was in my 40s. It has been a long time since then. But this is ridiculous. I didn't shoot anyone. Is that really true, Ryunosuke? Yes, all I did was pick up the gun that I saw lying on the floor. After I'd said hello to Dr. Wilson, I went back to my table and sat drinking some coffee. Then when I'd finished, I got up from my seat to leave the restaurant when I noticed an English-made gun next to the chair where the professor was sitting. I thought perhaps the professor had dropped it. Oh, is that a revolver of some type? Looks like it. 6 shots, maybe? I don't know. So I bent down, and just as I was picking it up... Bang! Boom! Headshot. Well, if that's the truth, there was obviously a criminal on the scene somewhere. And somewhere in these two witnesses' testimonies, there's a clue as to who that criminal is. There is? Ryunosuke, you must exercise your right to cross-examine the witnesses. Cross-examine? Do it now. As we have heard, Your Excellency, there is no room for doubt in the testimony of these witnesses. The defendant is clearly guilty. It is time to bring this despicable student to justice. Certainly, the testimony the court has just heard eliminates any vestige of doubt. Therefore, it is my grave duty to declare the verdict of this trial. Are you saying yes to me ending this trial, sir? What in the name of the Emperor is the meaning of this outburst? I mean, the defense demands its right to cross-examination.
Dear me, dear me. Let me guess. The Hachimaki headband boy next door told me to do it. How pathetic.
Huh? How did he know?
The prosecution objects. This is a clear waste of time. The defendant obviously has no experience. How can he possibly carry out a cross-examination?
Objection!
Objection! He has a good objection. Good voice. The defense is asserting its right to a cross-examination. Whether or not you think he's capable of it is irrelevant.
Gulp.
Kazuma is so commanding. It's kind of hot. Very well. Let the defense conduct a cross-examination of the witnesses. Alright, this is where the real battle begins, Ryunosuke. But I don't even know what I have to do in a cross-examination. Isn't it obvious? Why did I say that with an accent? Isn't it obvious? You have to expose the lies in the witnesses' statements. How? You didn't fire the gun, which means what that soldier said had to be a lie. Well, yes, but it's just a case of proving it. And the key to doing that is evidence. Right. Evidence. All I need to do is present some decisive evidence and disputable evidence that proves the witness is lying. Bane. Now let's go, Ryunosuke. Don't let them beat you. Alright then. It's all or nothing. Did you hear that sound effect when he slapped the desk? That's a more realistic sound. Like, it was just a pathetic little slap. Actually, that wasn't a realistic sound, but it was still pretty funny. Alright. Cross-examination. What the witnesses saw, yet again. Alright. Now I have to learn the controls. Okay. I'm playing on mouse and keyboard, by the way. I haven't said that before. Luckily, it tells me what I can do at the bottom there. I can use E to present and Q to press. Left click advances and right click goes back. Well, this is an Ace Attorney game, so what do? You press everything.
Yes!
Why aren't you saying anything? Is this some new interrogation method? I hadn't actually thought of what I wanted to ask. Just ask about anything that catches your attention. Anything that bothers you. Alright then, why are you raising your hand? This beefsteak you mentioned, what kind of food is that? Attention! Beefsteak is a delicious cut of veal, vigorously cooked on a cast iron grill and served piping hot. Oh. If food could receive medals of honor, beefsteak would be almost as highly decorated as a cutlet. Right, I see. Thank you, sir. So, next question. This cutlet you mentioned, what kind of food is that? Attention! Ah! Cutlet is a delicious cut of veal tossed in breadcrumbs and deep fried in coconut oil. Accept your guilty verdict, atone for your crimes, and when you're released from prison, try it! Yes, sir, I will, sir, on the double, sir! Sorry to interrupt, but How about trying to stick to questions that are relevant to the case? Oops, sorry. I'll do my best. So, next question. Oh my god. Is it just me, or do you keep hearing a sort of wah crying when... Negative! The automatic crying noise. Wah. 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 I can't do a good wah. I'm not Ina. I could do a Waluigi impression. Wah. I don't know. At least we've learned that he's a big beef lover. Affirmative. It's not easy knowing what questions to ask. Oh, hey, I got an achievement. I have no idea what you're talking about. God, is that me? 90% of my days.
Come on, boy.
Cobot? You mean an old Edo coin?
A day prior to the incident, a treasure of exceptional value from the Hoei period entered my possession. I took myself to the restaurant the following day with said item secretly in my bosom pocket.
Listen, old man, the last thing we need to learn about is your bosom.
In the hopes of an affluent cognoscence, appraise of its indisputable value being present.
So you're hoping to sell your Koban coin to Sargent Nosa, whom you met at the restaurant.
Yes, it's quite clear where you're going with this, boy. You were about to assert that a penniless soldier would have no hope of purchasing a precious Koban. Isn't that so?
Well... You little upstart cadet. You want to add disrespecting a superior officer to your list of crimes, do you? Blatant subordination. No, I didn't say anything. Isn't it supposed to be insubordination? Or, I don't know. Although penniless might just be the word I was looking for.
In any case, the hour was already advanced beyond that of the midday luncheon. There remained precious few present with whom I could engage in discourse about matters of business. The gentleman beside me who was grappling with his raised veil at the time was my sole prospect.
I see. At that precise moment, a firearm was discharged. I absorbed the enemy's actions with my own eyes. Yeah, tell me more about this. Yes! I feel like this is one I can press not for the sake of silly comedy. So you're saying that you actually saw me at the time? Affirmative. I saw you. Laughing, cackling like a madman as you trained the barrel of your gun on the English civilian. Yeah, I don't think we did that. But that's impossible. I only... Allow me to confirm this one point, please. What's this, Private? Thinking carefully about the statement you just made, it seems to me that it must have been just after you heard the gunshot that you looked over to the victim's table. And so what if it was? Well, if that really is the case, it would mean that you didn't in fact see the precise moment when the killer actually fired the gun. Arg.
Arg. And double arg.
My sixth sense. Sorry? My sixth sense of danger. I picked up the waves of murderous energy radiating from your foul mind. Which means, a split second before you pulled the trigger, I was looking right at you, Cadet. Surely that's not really possible, is it? Do you think I'd have got where I am today in the army if I couldn't sense danger in the air, son? Well... It would seem this soldier is absolutely convinced that he saw you do the deed. This is not good. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian, and from the back, the cowardly little weasel.
Yes!
Aight, tell me about this. So this black uniform university cadet, you're saying that was... Urgh. I've just about had enough of your sauce, cadet. Listen, I don't have any sauce. If you want to find sauce, go talk to that waiter. He had a lot dripping from his mouth. Who else do you see around here in black uniform, hmm? I mean, the guy standing to the right of me. Oh god. Why am I Ryunosuke? Oh no. I truly am the protagonist of this story. Well, there's someone standing right next to me if it's the description as well, but... It was you, you little weasel. You unloaded the firearm on that man. From behind his back, and you call yourself a civilian citizen of the great empire of Nippon. You disgust me. He's looking at the camera. He's like, are you hearing this shit? His face is like a bruh moment. He's just like, bruh. What is it, Ryunosuke? I'm not quite sure. Something that the sergeant just said, but I can't put my finger on it. Something's playing on my mind. In that case, check back over the details of the evidence you've gathered in the court record. And if you find an inconsistency there with what the witness just said, then don't hold back. Present the evidence to the court, thrust it in the witness's face, and make him choke on it. Okay. So... Oh, okay, so that's the one I want to present on.
My hands and knees investigating the whereabouts of my mysteriously absconding precious carrier.
Yes!
You know what? I'll look at this just on the case. On your hands and knees. Could you explain that, please?
That's right. Spurning the arthritis I was in order to retrieve the lost piece.
What lost piece are you referring to?
The koban, of course. The exquisite Hoei-era koban coin. I'd just been showing the rare treasure to the military man as he masticated his meal. After averting my eyes for the briefest of moments, it was there no more. It simply vanished.
Koban vanished.
And so began to acquaint myself with the intricacies of the floor in order to locate it, and then it happened.
You heard the gunshot, you mean?
None other than, though it was no concern of mine, I was frantically scouring the floor for the aforementioned lost treasure.
So, in fact, you didn't actually witness the precise moment when the incident occurred.
Indeed, myself, I did not.
I have no idea what I'm supposed to do here. Listen, Ryunosuke. We know there are lies lurking in these statements. It's time to expose them. I understand that. The question is how. Like I said before, the key to this is using evidence that you've collected. You can examine and present evidence while a witness is giving testimony by pressing E. Go through each witness statement and the details about each piece of evidence, and compare all the facts. Somewhere in there you'll find something that doesn't add up. In other words, an inconsistency. Inconsistency. When you find a statement and a piece of evidence that seem to contradict each other, present your evidence with art and rip the witness apart. Just be careful, because if you assert a contradiction that has no basis, you'll be given a penalty. If you're dealt too many penalties, the defense's case will fall apart and you'll receive a guilty verdict. So that's it. Peruse the evidence in the court record and find an inconsistency with the witness's statement. Alright, I'll give it a try. You can hear the witness statement, blah 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 blah, as perfect time as you like. Oh shoot, that's a new pose. So keep your head and be measured in your attack. Good luck, partner. That was a new pose, that was cool. Okay, I already know which one. Right here. Present. Now I could present the wrong thing for some funny stuff, but as you can see in the top right, if we make 5 mistakes, we die, so there's that. And also, bada boom, you're done.
Yes!
Well shit, I didn't think about what I'd do once I got this far. What? What are you playing at, cadet? What is the meaning of subordination? Thrusting some photographic printer in my mustache. Inconsistency, sir. I mean, yes. There's a clear inconsistency here.
Tch, what nonsense. What can this print possibly tell us that we don't already know?
Well, obviously, that, I know what I want to say, but the words just won't come out of my mouth.
I think this proves beyond any doubt, Your Excellency, that there is no place for an amateur student here in the Grand Courtroom.
Ugh, this is so frustrating. Oh, please. Surely this doesn't require an explanation. It couldn't be more plain. To spell it out would be an insult to the court. That's a cool pose right there. Also, I like this music. Cosmo, what?
What are you talking about?
It's apparent from a single glance at the photographic print presented by the defense that there's a clear discrepancy here within the Sargent's statement.
What?
Sargenti Iesa Nosa. I think I just got a pun. Ace Attorney games love to do this, where they make puns out of names. One sec. Court record. People. Yesa Nosa. That sounds like yes sir, no sir. About. Except they don't have... Obviously it's Japan, so they can't say sir, they say, you know, because they don't have certain sounds. The statement you just made was this. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian, and from the back the cowardly little weasel. Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. I witnessed the crime with my own military-grade eyes, sir.
Yes!
But no, that just can't be. And why not, cadet? Because... Take a close look at the print. Dun, 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 dun. The victim, Dr. Wilson, died from a bullet wound to the chest. Oh. Sergeant, according to your witness statement, the culprit shot the victim from behind. And that is the obvious discrepancy here. Well, how do you explain that? Well, Sir, why do you have a child? Did you kidnap that child? Is that child not yours? Are you like Iris? What was that? Somebody just popped up from behind his back, but he pushed it down again.
Certainly there is a clear discrepancy with the facts here. Would you not agree, Sergeant Nosa?
At this junction, that would appear to be indisputable. Until the moment I heard the firearm discharge, my eyes were firmly fixed on the delicious Le Carnival steak, sir.
What?
Last testimony the Kurt heard has proven one thing beyond all reasonable doubt. His witness, Sergeant Yesanosa, did not see the defendant firing a gun at all.
That's absurd.
And I think the conclusion we must draw is simple. There is no place for an amateur prosecutor here in this grand courtroom.
Bodied. Yarg.
Destroyed. Destroyed. There's been a complete turnabout in the mood of this trial, just from that one discrepancy. He really is a legend. So this is what being an ace attorney is all about. Puts on shades. But I definitely saw him. That university cadet there, he was pointing the firearm directly at the victim's back. But I never fired the gun. All I did was pick it up off the floor.
And you, old man, you didn't see the moment the victim was shot either. Myself, I have already been quite clear. The gunshot interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor.
Oh yes, you were looking for your Koban coin, weren't you?
Indeed, the prized Hoei Koban. Hunting around under the table I was in case mayhap it had fallen there, and then it happened. Pain, and a pain.
You heard the gunshot, you mean?
Indeed I did, but I heeded it not, for I was concerned only with finding my absconded Hoei treasure. Nothing could distract me.
Out of interest, did you find the coin in the end?
No.
Huh, I see.
That lamentable day, the precious Hoei Koban was lost to me. No doubt some unscrupulous scoundrel pocketed the prize coin for himself.
Gee, I wonder who he could be referring to on that one.
As I am sure everyone present is aware, this case demands a swift and decisive resolution. Our government has promised to send a full report to Great Britain by telegraph this very afternoon.
Nevertheless, the witness testimony the Kurt has just heard was inconclusive. No matter how subservient our government feels it must be to the British, it would be unforgivable to deliver a verdict on this trial right now.
What is your position, Prosecutor Ouchie?
Worry not, Your Excellency. The defendant may have fled a tiger at the front gate, but he will find a wolf at the back. My witnesses have further testimony to make.
Explain.
Upon hearing their next statements, it will become abundantly clear that there is only one person who could have possibly committed this despicable crime. Equally despicable defendant Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
What? He really seems to have a despicable opinion of you, doesn't he?
Very well, I can't wait to testify again. The judge is tired. You will thoroughly explain the reasoning behind the prosecution's allegation. Is that clear? As clear as Kimiko glass, Your Excellency.
Yes, sir. At once, sir. Awaiting signal to testify, sir. You have a child in the back end. Excuse me, but there's something or someone peeking out over your shoulder, I think. Affirmative. The newest member of the Nosa family to rise up through the ranks, sir. Name, Ado. Oh my god. Yesa Nosa. I don't know, sir. Oh, that's some clever joke right there. It would appear those straps are a sign of the sergeant being too strapped to afford a nanny. I don't tension. Your father is about to quell the enemy. Watch and learn, my boy. Well then. There is now a child here. The true culprit. Even if what I saw wasn't the precise moment of the firearm was discharged, it's almost the same thing.
Yes, pointing his gun at the foreign man he was, that young lad in black. That much I myself did see.
Furthermore, a visual search of the premises at the time confirmed that we were the only personnel present.
Indeed, alone he was, the Englishman, dining all by himself.
Therefore, no one other than the black uniformed cadet could have dispatched the Englishman. Over and out. Well then.
Those testimonies are certainly too primitive.
Wait, that's nonsense. The victim, Dr. Wilson, wasn't alone at all.
Please, enough of these outbursts already.
But there was a young woman at his table. You must have seen her. Everyone there must have seen her.
Objection!
If you call yourself a lawyer, then you will respect the rules of the court and speak accordingly. We are not here to listen to your fantasies. It is evident beyond all reasonable doubt that the victim was alone at the time of the incident. The prosecution has photographic evidence of this fact.
Is this a photographic print of the scene of the crime, Counsel?
Indeed, of the table at which the victim was dining, taken by an investigator immediately after the incident. As can plainly be seen, there is only one place set.
Certainly based on the appearance of this print. It would be reasonable to conclude that the victim was not in the company of anyone else.
That doesn't make any sense.
The court will add this new photographic evidence to the record.
Photographic print of the crime scene has been entered into the court record. A bottle of carbonated water and a steak lunch can be seen on the victim's table. I love this music, by the way. Love the violin and the percussion. I don't understand. What's going on here? It's just not possible that nobody else saw that woman. The waiter before said the same thing. He maintains that Dr. Wilson came to the restaurant alone as well. That's not true. I saw her. I swear that I saw a woman with him.
It would seem that we'll be able to telegraph the report to Great Britain on time after all. The witness testimonies we have just heard leave no further room for doubt.
These are very sensitive political times, as we all know. The ink is still fresh on the treaty with Great Britain. To think that I, Takatsuchi Ochi, will have contributed to the amity of these two great empires is an honor.
How can this be happening? The judge is ready to rule. Stand tall, Ryunosuke. It's not over yet. What? If what you say is true, then there is something going on here behind the scenes. And now is your chance to expose it, to draw out the truth in your cross-examination. I don't know, Kazuma.
The defense is entitled to cross-examine the witnesses, but make it quick, understood?
Rules can be so unbending at times.
True culprit. Even if what I saw No, it's not the same thing at all. For a start, I didn't fire that gun. We have a difference of opinion on that. The opinion of a uniformed soldier versus that of a fledgling cadet. I don't think so.
Consider this, defendant. Just a moment ago, I blinked.
Did you?
Did you see it? Did you see me blink?
No, because I can't even see your eyes because of your glasses, dumbass. How could I?
And yet, it is an undeniable fact that I did blink. So there you have it.
Have what? Attention! Sound of the firearm rang in my ears, and the very next moment, I saw you waving the gun at the Englishman. I think that's it.
I think that says it all, don't you? Sorry, I used my regular voice for a second there. Because this voice is very grating to do for long periods of time. And yet I'm still doing it. How do I do this? Let us not forget the antique stealer witnessed the accused in this most incriminating position as well. Isn't that so, Korekuta-san?
Police can find out who was there, young lady.
Yes, it may be true that I was holding the gun at that point in time. But I've told you already, that's only because I picked it up off the floor.
Well, obviously, as the culprit, that's the only way you could explain it away.
I just finished drinking my coffee and I was about to leave the restaurant when I noticed a gun on the floor at Dr. Wilson's feet, so I picked it up. And at exactly that moment, the gunshot rang out. Oh hey, a gunshot rang in my ears.
Full of events beyond our control, life is.
Sorry? What do you mean?
In your case, you found a pistol on the floor and picked it up, which precipitated this testing predicament. Whereas, conversely, I failed to pick up the Koban from the floor and find myself in an equally testing predicament as a result.
Yeah, stop drawing a knife in court.
Anyway, the fact remains, myself, I did see you.
Also, this is even worse now because he's freaking brandishing a knife next to a baby. Like, there is a toddler Look at him. Look at how freaking close he puts that knife to him. Both the freaking sergeant and the baby. He puts it like less than a foot away, this freaking psychopath.
With pistol in hand, standing over the foreigner.
What a whack job. Furthermore, a visual search of the premises at the time confirmed that we were the only personnel present. This is where he shouts about the... Must have noticed someone else is at Dr. Wilson's table. There was a lady there.
As you have been at pains to point out time and time again, I feel I'm growing a callus in my ear. Yet, no one else appears to have caught even a glimpse of this woman.
If only there had been more people dining there at the time, then someone else would have noticed her. And unfortunately, it was already past 2 p.m. when it happened. Quiet time between lunch and dinner in any restaurant. I know, of course the place is almost empty. It's what you'd expect.
Certainly 2 p.m. is neither here nor there in terms of time to eat. I wonder if there really was a reason why the victim was eating at that time of day and why he was alone.
Yes, Your Excellency, there was indeed a reason.
There was?
This was found in the victim's jacket pocket.
Oh?
What is that, Counsel?
It's a medical report card, Your Excellency.
I was not expecting to actually get anything from press in this one.
It would seem that the victim had an appointment at a clinic prior to visiting the restaurant.
Hotter clinic. Oh no. Yes, there would indeed appear to be an entry for the date in question. 19th of November. Noon to past 1 a.m. The very day of the incident.
So the victim went for a late lunch following his appointment. The explanation couldn't be more simple. The prosecution felt no need to submit this evidence before, as it really has no bearing on the case.
I wonder. What do you think, Ryunosuke? Well, it is hard to see how it could be related, really. Remember, you can request for it to be entered into the court record as evidence if you think it could be useful. I mean, I see no reason not.
Yes!
Yes! If I may, I'd like to ask for that medical report card to be submitted as evidence, Your Excellency.
On what grounds? The court has already heard conclusive witness testimony. Additional evidence would be extraneous. Not to mention that the victim's movements prior to his arrival at the restaurant are of no concern.
Whether or not they are of concern is up to us to decide. We have a right to explore all possible avenues.
I beg your pardon?
You have no authority to refuse a perfectly valid request for the submission of evidence. Very well. The court will grant the defense's request.
Youngsters these days are forever asserting their rights. It's a most disturbing trend.
Poor you. What a boomer. Officer, kindly add the victim's medical report card to the court record. Alright. What we need right now is new clues. We have to explore things from every possible angle, even if they don't seem relevant at first. Right, I hear ya.
You can conspire to prolong this trial as much as you like, but it's the day after the festival already for you. Or perhaps you've forgotten that these witnesses' testimonies leave no room for doubt. Feel free to reiterate for the accused, Korekuto-san.
Okay, let me... One sec. Can I look at it or anything? No? Maybe it's just for later? I don't know. Dining all by himself, alone, yet no other person could have dispatched the Englishman over and out. This is a predicament. I have 2 more things to press here. We're almost at 50 minutes. Indeed,
Indeed, alone he was, the Englishman, dining all by himself.
was he alone, or was he not? We shall find out next time on Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Adios, ciao, and bye. Signing off until next time. Ja, mata ne.